Welcome to Weather and Climate Chat. This is Monsoon Mike, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Dr. Michael Davis and Quinn Flory, our intern of the year. Hello, Dr. Davis and Quinn.
It's good to be back. I haven't been on the show in quite some time.
Yeah, actually, Quinn and I even recorded one alone
I heard.
without you.
Yeah,
and
we did.
So you, I think...
You did good.
You guys date back to, what, the end of January or early February, I think, the last time we had you in here. So maybe early February.
I would say early February.
Yeah, early February. It's still been a long time. Well, welcome back, Dr. Davis. How's your semester going?
Not too bad. It's getting a little chaotic now, but overall, not too bad.
Any plans for spring break, rest and relaxation?
Science Olympiad on Wednesday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
And I don't have to ask you, Quinn, what you're doing for spring break. You're doing the trip to Florida. So
yeah, I'm going to Disney.
Good for you.
So excited.
Good for you. Happy for you.
Yeah, and it may even be Florida-like warmth here in eastern PA.
It's going to be pretty toasty over the
next week.
Actually, well, we'll get to that in a second. First, we've got to get through what we've got now. We're recording this on Friday, March 6th, and today's yesterday was beautiful. Today, however, is kind of dreary. We got some weak low pressure, I believe, coming from like the lakes region.
Yeah, that's bringing the cold air, which is going to give us the chance maybe for some scattered snow. Mm-hmm. Although the chances look pretty slim, I would say.
Right. I mean, the one some of the models had been jumping on a little bit of a changeover later, and I even saw PennDOT. I was actually surprised to see PennDOT out pre-treating some roads today, so they're being overly cautious. Maybe they just got some pre-treat to use up since they've hardly used any this year.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought, too. Like, we have all this standby brine and salt, so might as well use it.
Might as well use it and, just be overly prepared.
And the more vibrant system is the one coming out of the south,
right?
Which is moving off the Carolina coast and pretty
much
it is right here. Going
yeah.
out to sea. It might be impacting New England later tonight because it is forecast to intensify as that colder air from that weaker system that's coming out of the Great Lakes comes and merges in with that warmer air.
Now, GFS here implies, and this is the newest GFS, that somewhere like around 7 this evening we could be seeing some snow trying to mix in. But again, with temperatures above freezing most of the day, if not all of the day, anything that does fall, we're not expecting to lay. Maybe a little bit on grass, but even that would be a stretch at this point. So yeah, I'm not really too worried.
Optimistic about it. And frankly, I think it's probably going to be more in the way of rain anyway. Mm-hmm. Might be some flurry activity, rain-snow mix, but bulk of it's going to be rain.
Right. And then that gets out of here, and then after maybe a morning flurry or snow shower Saturday morning, the rest of the weekend looks pretty much high and dry with high pressure to our south.
Sunday and Monday are looking great.
Yeah. Well, even Saturday, not too bad, but a little on the cool side Saturday, 43 for a high. The National Weather Service has gone with. It'll be a little breezy, winds around 20 miles an hour from the north. So, yeah, it'll feel seasonably chilly on Saturday. But then look what happens, Quinn and Dr. Davis, on Sunday and Monday. 56 on Sunday, 63 on Monday. And I know down near Philly, they're perhaps going to be pushing 70, or at least upper 60s on Monday.
Now, the average high this time of year is mid-40s. Mm-hmm. So we'll be well above normal, at least on Monday.
A good 15, maybe 20 degrees above average on Monday. So, yeah, definitely the your get-out day of the weekend. Well, both days decent, but especially Sunday. Sunny with a high near 56. That's going to be gorgeous.
And the time changes on Sunday.
That is right. We lose an hour on Sunday night, overnight. So
I look forward to the sun setting at 7, though.
I do, and I'm just going to throw this out. I'm you and I, Dr. Davis, are a little older, so you probably remember back in the days when we had to actually manually change our clocks, forward or backwards. Now practically all of the clocks change themselves. So you just go to bed and you wake up the next morning and everything is done for you.
Yep.
So, but there's always maybe one or two clocks like the Ranger or something that you have to change manually. But yeah, that's always an interesting time of year. And yeah, you're right. Sunset now. What is sunset now? I think
about
6-ish or something.
5:45, somewhere in that ballpark.
So, and I know the other night I saw like how I sometimes like looking at the horizon, like for the last little peak of daylight. That last little peak the other night was about 6:30. So that's going to be, 7:30 in a couple days. That's kind of nice that we'll be having a peak of of light until as late as 7:30. So it does prove that we're getting into the warmer time of year.
For those of you who want to throw the actual term to it, the twilight.
Twilight, yep, that's right. Meteorological spring is now here as of March 1st, so happy meteorological spring. I don't know, when does the astronomical spring happen this year? I'm not sure. I can look it up right now.
Somewhere around March 21st.
It's always either 20, 21, 22, 23, somewhere around there.
And with the twilight, we don't have Rod Serling that we have to worry about either.
Yeah. Oh, it begins early this year. Okay, it's one of those years that it begins. Yeah, it's one of those years it begins early this year, March 19th.
Oh, so, even earlier.
Yeah, that's one of the earliest I've ever seen it. But yeah, I know it always ranges somewhere in that 19 to 23 range.
And I got asked the other day, why do we have meteorological spring?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is that different than astronomical spring? And it's mainly due to meteorologists taking the 3 coldest months and classifying them as winter, and the 3 warmest months classifying them as summer, and then you have your transitional periods between them. That's number one. And the number 2 one is because it standardizes the time period. So you have that particular 90, 91, 92 block, as opposed to astronomical, which can fluctuate between days, so you may or may not have consistent data sets throughout your months.
Interesting. Learn something new every day. You've been very quiet, Quinn, so far as we've been recording.
Yeah.
By the way, I like the format of the show today because we're kind of like mixing in like other topics in with our first segment here, so that's kind of like the direction we're going, and that's fine. We'll continue that. But yeah, that's definitely interesting. And then, like we said, Sunday or Monday, 63. Looks like our next cold front rolls in Tuesday-ish. Little cooler behind that, but not crazy cool. You know, maybe just like lower 50s instead of 60s. So
the sun's getting a little stronger every day. So temperatures should be not taking that big of a hit.
And if we look at the Climate Prediction Center's forecast, 6 to 10, 8 to 14, above normal, but above normal. Precipitation, though, also above normal. So that would imply a little on the wetter side. 1 month outlook, 3 month outlook, all above normal.
Now, does that include the storm system that's impacting us today? I don't know when this was updated.
This was, yeah, you're right. The temperatures were updated March 5th. That's yesterday.
Okay.
And
so then that would include today's storm.
Yeah, the 6 to 10.
Or Friday, Saturday storm that's moving up the coast.
So, yeah. So good point. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be all that wet, but just, it's including the storm that we're having now. Which is, like I said, it's not even really that bad of a storm. I mean, just light rain at this point. So there you go. So fairly quiet pattern. A little cold now, but turning mild. The spring break looks generally nice if you're in this area. If you're at, here's some fun, Quinn. You want to look at Orlando for next week? All right, we can do that.
Let's compare how close they are.
So we can be jealous of Quinn's trip. All right. So precipitation-wise, I think I had looked, and looks fairly nothing too much. Orlando would be like somewhere right around here. So looks like normal Florida weather. Nothing happening. Maybe some showers or thunderstorms Tuesday, Wednesday.
Pop-up showers that are always possible.
Nothing. Yeah, you look like you have a pretty dry week, and then you're coming back already at that point.
Yay.
Let's look at what the Weather Service has for down there. And let's see. So this is if any of our listeners are going to Florida for that, spring break, and the Weather Service's website is taking forever. Okay, there it goes. Okay, it's going to be a little cool on Saturday, 63 on Saturday.
Yeah, okay.
But for Florida, that's cool.
Yeah.
But
for
then
us, it's nice.
Then you pop right up. Sunday 70, 75 Monday, 79 Tuesday, 81 Wednesday, 82 Thursday. All days at least partly sunny. Maybe a shower somewhere around Thursday like we saw on the GFS, but looks like you have a great week.
Yeah, I'm excited. When I went 2 years ago, it was funny because I packed all shorts. I only packed one pair of pants, which is like what I wore to the airport, and one sweatshirt, and it was like in the 50s every day.
You practically lived out of it.
It was cold and kind of damp, and it didn't rain, but like it was cold enough that you could wear a sweatshirt during the day, but then like at night you needed like more than that. So this time I always pack pretty light, but I have like 3 pairs of shorts and 2 pairs of pants and 2 sweatshirts. So I'll be set.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention to nighttime temperatures. Let's see. 48 Saturday night. That's pretty cool for Florida.
Yeah.
56 Sunday night, 57, 59, 60. So, yeah, hey, that's pretty perfect weather. Highs in the 60s and 70s, nights in the 50s. I mean, you really can't beat that.
I'm hoping just to swim at least once.
Yeah.
I'd like to do that at least once.
Well, it might be a little cool to swim like Sunday or Monday, but once you get to Tuesday, Wednesday, when you're around 80, I think that's probably your swimming days.
Yeah.
So, good. I hope you have a good time.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And our temperatures aren't that far off.
No, honestly, what we're going to have is really, it's one of those situations where we're only going to be about 15 degrees cooler than that. So, we'll both have nice weather.
Yeah, it's good for both of us.
Quinn and I were laughing the other day. We were looking at the fantasy GFS models, as I like to do, and last week the one model had a big snowstorm next week, and that went nowhere. We see where that...
Yeah.
So, and she was actually upset. She's like, boy, if that happens, I would miss it. I'm like, well, don't worry. Give it 2 runs and it's going to be gone. And it's gone.
And then you sent it to me, and I just chose not to dignify it with an answer.
You know that I didn't believe that.
I knew that, too.
Yeah, but. So, okay, so there you go. Topic-wise, I mean, we already covered, like, several topics in there, but we did want to, like, throw out what had happened in Tennessee. I always mix the 2 Tennessee cities up, Nashville and Memphis. This was Nashville, correct?
Yeah.
Nashville. Horrible tornadoes. I think 19 people confirmed dead.
No, I heard over 20.
20? Okay, over 20 now. So
that was Monday night, I believe?
Yeah.
I think it was Monday night, or it might have been Sunday night.
Sunday or Monday
I think it was Monday night.
Yeah, pretty unusual for that time of year and that location.
And the National Weather Service Nashville was kind of caught flat-footed somewhat because it didn't look like that great of a tornado risk that night. Normally, tornadoes in March, it's possible, but not really that uncommon. I do remember that there was a tornado outbreak in southern Indiana, southern Ohio, northern Kentucky in late February 2008. 9, something like that. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities, but the Storm Prediction Center and National Weather Service didn't really seem to be playing it up too much. They were concerned that maybe you could have a tornado, but the risk was deemed
not an
rather
outbreak
low.
Like that, yeah.
And when it finally got to the Nashville area, it just erupted into a pretty much monstrous storm that then tore through the northern suburbs of Nashville.
So what do you think that, and I know the National Weather Service down there has been taking a little bit of criticism from people, and you can't blame them too much because they do the best they can. But what do you think that they or the models or whatever missed with that? Was there what was so dynamic about the atmosphere that night that caused that?
You had a pretty moist air mass that was in place. And the whole system that was moving through, I believe, was associated with a cold front.
Right.
So you had that colder air moving into the warm air, and it just maybe had some type of mesoscale influence from the actual city itself. The urban heat island, perhaps, had the warmer air that was sitting over Nashville. You had strong southerly winds with the low-level jet, which then pushes all that warm air further toward the north. And then you have this injection of warm air that goes in, wants to rise rapidly, and then you have intensification from that respect. So that would be my assumption.
Right.
The other thing I wanted to get at was it was also a nighttime tornado.
Yeah, and those are always the worst kind.
Nocturnal tornadoes are always notorious for being deadly because
people are
less prepared. They may be asleep and not hearing the alarm go off or the alert, and it's dark outside, so you cannot see the funnel.
Right.
And you have no idea where that tornado is going because it might be very well on top of you, and you would have no clue.
Plus, it was Tennessee in early March, not the most prime location or time of year for tornadoes.
Not really, but this is an area that's accustomed to tornadoes, so they should know what to do.
Right.
But again, it not the greatest event, maybe that kind of lulled some people to sleep, and then that put them more at harm's risk.
Yeah. Well, definitely our thoughts, prayers, positive energies, whatever you believe in, down to the folks in Tornado. I've been watching some of the recovery action down there, and it's still going on because it's a lot of devastation. I was really, really surprised to see what happened.
Did they give that a rating? I don't recall seeing a rating.
That's a very good question.
It.
I don't know if I can perform that here on the fly, but yeah, it would have to be a rating.
The damage to me looked like an EF3.
Yeah.
Because with tornadoes, they typically go and survey
Cookeville, Tennessee, tornado rated EF4.
EF4, okay.
Yes. This was Washington Post one day ago, so that's an accurate article. Yeah. It was nation's most intense in 3 years. The Cookeville tornado was rated EF4. And it was blamed for 24 deaths. You're right. 18 of the 24 deaths in Middle Tennessee. So EF4, that's
pretty sizable, especially for this time of year.
Yeah.
Usually the tornadoes this time of year don't reach that intensity.
It was the first violent tornado rated EF4 or higher in the National Weather Service Nashville forecast area since April 10th, 2009.
I remember that one.
It was also the strongest tornado nationwide in 3 years.
I believe that tornado was the one that went through downtown Nashville.
I remember that. That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
Because some say that, tornadoes won't ever go through cities. They do.
Oh, they can. Yeah.
Absolutely, they
Absolutely
do.
They can.
They go through Nashville. They've gone through Atlanta. They've gone through Dallas.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't there even one near Boston like many, many years ago? I could have sworn. I
think there was a smaller one in one of the suburbs of New York City, too.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of, yeah. I know there was somewhere in New England there was one.
Because mile for mile, the U.S. is more rural than urban, so chances are you're going to have a tornado that goes through a rural area. But ever so often, you might have a tornado that goes through an urban area.
Okay, so here you go, Dr. Davis. The Cookeville tornado was EF4. The one that actually went through Nashville was EF3. Okay. So Nashville, the one that went through the city, was a 3.
Was that the 09 one that they were referring to, or is that a different one?
What do you mean the...
because you said it was the first EF4 since 09.
Oh, yeah, where was that up here? Yeah, it was the first violent rated EF4 or higher in the National Weather Service's forecast area since April 10th, 2009.
That wouldn't have been that storm.
And then the Nashville one was EF3. So there were several tornadoes. I guess 2 known tornadoes, or... there's another tornado. Okay, so there were several tornado reports actually from that outbreak the other night. So
there were several that were also in Missouri that were warned. So I think northeastern Arkansas too.
All right, so this map
that's
here,
closer to the Memphis area.
Right. All right, so this map's okay. Here we go. So it looks like there were 6. Looks like there were 6 known tornadoes. The worst one was the one over Cookeville, the EF4. The one that went through Nashville was an EF3. There was a couple EF2s and an EF1 in western Tennessee, and there was an EF0 going out near Knoxville. So in all, and then it looks like there was maybe even a couple others in Kentucky or west of Tennessee as well that weren't really noted for too much. But yeah, so that's pretty incredible. Early March, EF3, EF4 tornado. I don't know if that's a harbinger of a active spring thunderstorms, tornado season coming up, or if that was just a fluke. I guess we'll just have to see.
Yeah, we'll have a look. Normally, you want to look at El Nino or La Nina events for this because La Nina events typically mean more tornadoes, and El Ninos typically mean less tornadoes.
So what are we this year?
Right now, we're in neutral conditions, although I believe we're starting to get potentially an El Nino.
Okay. And you said that was more favorable for tornadoes or less favorable for tornadoes? Okay. Well, we'll see where that goes.
Yeah. Like the 2011 tornado outbreak, I think it was, that had all the Joplin tornado.
Oh, I remember that one. Everybody remembers Joplin.
One.
Yeah, that was huge.
That one was during a strong La Nina event.
Okay.
And that 2011 year was the year we had the most tornadoes on record in the U.S.
I remember that year. It was just nonstop. It was every day you turned on the news and it was like another tornado. Yeah, that was wild. Yep. Well, you've been very quiet, Quinn. Are you just thinking about Florida right now?
No, I was thinking about this and how like how horrible it is. I don't know. I'm just trying to grasp my mind around it and just listening to you both talk about it because I don't remember a lot of the tornadoes that you've talked about. I guess I was just young then.
And with tornadoes, when you have particularly strong ones like EF4s, EF5s, when it does massive damage, they often say that you should not wander too far from home afterwards because you may get lost, even if you've lived in that particular community for 20, 30 years.
Because the landscape's just been totally uprooted and changed.
You've lost all your landmarks and you have no idea where you're at.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
One of those things you don't think of. Yeah,
so you may not have any idea where you're at, and so don't wander too far.
Yeah. Wait till the emergency responders get there. Well, again, I hope they recover. I hope everything gets back to somewhat of normal, livable lifestyle in Tennessee pretty soon, and hopefully it's, we have a few quiet weeks of weather, and hope everybody on and off campus enjoys spring break week. You'll be in Florida. You and I, Dr. Davis, will just be.
I'll be here
trying to catch up on work. So, and then
I should be around this week, spring break, if we want to record.
Okay, all right. If anything is interesting, a week from now, we can definitely record. And then you'll be back the week after, so we won't hear your voice for the coming week doing the weather. It'll be back to me for a week, but then you'll be back the week after, and we'll look forward to that. Yeah. How's your internship going this year?
Good. I'm really enjoying it. Yesterday, we were at the Kindness Carnival at the MSU. I was up there with Corey and, the one who interviewed you yesterday.
Oh, Jacob.
Yes, I was up there with those two.
He hosts a show called Perspectives.
Yeah.
And Dr. Davis was his guest and aired last night at 8 o'clock. I heard it at home. And it will be on Spotify soon. So now that we're uploading all of our talk shows to Spotify, or most of our talk shows, you can just go to Spotify, search Kutztown University Radio, look for Perspectives with Dr. Davis, and you'll be famous.
I heard, Quinn, you were on the geography internship.
Oh, yeah, night. The panel night that we had on Monday. Yep, good. I talked about my internship here, and I had a lot of questions that people didn't know that we could do this, so that was really interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I've had a really good time so far. I've done a lot. I've just finished board training almost. I shadowed a few shows, so live shows, and it's been really interesting.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you're like setting the ground for, future people. I've already had some future people who are seeing you here every day and saying things like, this monitor doesn't want to cooperate with me, saying things like, "Oh, Quinn's here every day, could I do an internship at KUR possibly?" I'm like, well, that's up to your curriculum, your advisor, but it's definitely setting some good groundwork for future semesters for other people. So we're happy to do that.
Yeah.
So
it's great.
All right, so that's pretty much does it for Weather and Climate Chat for this week, March 6th. And again, have a great spring break, Dr. Davis, and especially Quinn, who's going to be traveling 1,200 miles away, and enjoy yourself.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you back here next time.
Excellent.